Welcome to the Happy Hour. Who doesn't want to spend their Saturday afternoon talking about philosophy and humility? Sounds like a great time. Humility is one of those topics where it's like, if you want to be more humble, it's like once you realize you're really humble, are you really being humble anymore? And so then I had this kind of existential philosopher crisis, but here we are, and it's going to be fine. I would say it's going to be great, but that's not very humble of me. First, that we are going to be discussing today at the Happy Hour on humility. Speaking of boss-ass bitch, this woman is amazing, Audre Lorde. Now, I was not super familiar with Audre Lorde, and the little bit that I knew about her, I thought of her as a poet, not necessarily as a philosopher, but we're going to see why she's here. But one thing that's really interesting about her is she wasn't just focused on our differences. She wasn't using them as like a way to fight against one another. She actually believed that our differences can actually make us much more of allies to each other and much stronger. And she said only by learning to live in harmony with your contradictions can you keep it all afloat. Her take on truth, she said our feelings are our most genuine paths to knowledge. And remember this because the philosopher we're going to talk about after Audre actually had the 180 approach on it and thought that it was really everything is based on science and that feelings are bunk, basically. So that's what all you need to know going into our discussion.
She's a theorist who's constantly pointing out how attempting to sort of fill the role that society has assigned to you if you're oppressed can really get in the way of human liberation. I told students once to not call me Mrs. and to call me Doctor, and then received a bunch of teaching evaluations that said, like, how dare she ask to be called doctor?
I'm sorry. If I went through school and got a doctorate, I would be telling the person I met on the subway, it's doctor.
Like when you know you're not good at something, defer to the person who is good at it. But conversely, like there are really important moments when like you are an expert and it's okay for you to take up space as an expert.
The next philosopher that we're going to be discussing, I'm going to pronounce wrong as well, I'm sure, Auguste Comte. You guys, I can't say Auguste with a straight face because it makes me think of Willy Wonka. So he was like, okay, let's do the religion of humanity. So what he did that was really profound, I think, was he looked at religion and he took what was good about it, what was helpful about it, or at least what was impactful about it, and he wanted to apply it to an atheist way of living. Our next speaker also took this to another level. You mentioned that you found actually contradictions in the Bible about the role of luck. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I love what Serene said, so I'm basically echoing what she said, that acknowledging the role of luck in your life is so important because I think it leads to compassion. There are my books have luckily been relatively successful, but there have been, hundreds of books that come out that are as good or better than mine on the same week that do not sell. And a lot of that is luck. And I acknowledge it 100%. And it's actually not great because when people come to ask me for career advice, I say, well, the first thing is you got to be totally lucky. And they're like, great, that is not helpful at all.
I'm going to check with our haikuist who is typing our haikus.
Yes. Okay, so first is for Dr. Serene. Chewing privilege. Embrace the differences. We are not victims. Yes, so A. Comte. When the sun sets, breathe. Birds fly in gaps of knowledge. Break bread with thousands.
That's beautiful. Thank you. If I start a religion, I want to have that be like our prayer. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Ina from Ars Poetica. We're going to be besties now because we just spent a Saturday afternoon talking about humility. Who else is as cool as we are? No one. That's what I thought. So thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Serene J Khader. Thank you so much, AJ Jacobs. See you next time.